Okay, everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today is August 17th, 2021. I'm still traveling. I'm in New York, going back to Israel next week, and then a few weeks, week and a half later, off to Uman, Bezrat Hashem. With Hashem's help, everything should be smooth. We are going to discuss in this video two things. One is the updates about Uman Rosh Hashanah and crossing the border. And the second thing we will be doing is reading more stories and things about Uman Rosh Hashanah from a pamphlet called Rosh Hashanah Shali, My Rosh Hashanah, which is basically every single saying, story, source, remark from Breslov Chassidim about Uman Rosh Hashanah, including Rebbe Nachman, of course, and stories. And we started last week, so I will leave a link to the video and previous videos that you can see, of course, on my channel if you just go on the channel and scroll through the videos. So yeah, basically, okay, so let's just discuss, first of all, Uman Rosh Hashanah. It starts in 20 days. As of now, today is August 17th. The Ukraine is still open. Their borders are still open to everybody, from all over the world, except for, I think, Russia and India. You have to quarantine for 14 days without any possibility of, taking a test and getting out early. Everyone else is welcome. You can enter in, but there are different rules for vaccinated and unvaccinated people. In Ukraine, it does not seem from any sources or anything that Ukraine is planning on closing the borders for Rosh Hashanah like they did last year. They've already announced that they are ready for the festivities, as they call them, and everything should be good. So, what are the rules? The rules are as follows. If you are vaccinated, all you need to show up in Ukraine with is your vaccination certificate. All I know is either about Israel or the US. I don't know from other countries, but I know that from Israel and the US, if you show up with your vaccination certificate, your CDC vaccination card, or your Hitchasnut or your vaccination certificate in Hebrew from Israel, with that says that you had 2 shots, you will be allowed into the country as long as you have Ukrainian health insurance, which can easily be purchased online for very, very cheap. I will leave links below. Regarding a negative COVID test, if you are vaccinated, you do not need to present a negative test at the border there, but it's very possible that you may still need one to fly on your airline, depending on which airline you're flying or where you are stopping over. So you should check with your airline or travel agent or wherever you book to make sure that everything is going to be good, because just it doesn't hurt to take an easy test, or just before you fly, just in case you may need one. So those are the rules for vaccinated people. For unvaccinated people traveling from Israel or traveling from the US or whatever, you will need to present a negative test upon arrival that is done within 72 hours of your flight. I believe Ukraine accepts PCR or rapid tests, but again, your airline may not. So you need to check all those things. Once you are there, you also need to have a smartphone. And your smartphone needs to have an app on it called the Vdoma app, Vdoma. Easily found on the Google Play Store for Android and the App Store for iPhone. This app will basically, what it does is that it gives you 72 hours to be in the Ukraine, and within those 72 hours you need to take a test and get a negative result, so that you can get out of the mandatory 10-day. They want everyone to be in quarantine for 10 days that is not vaccinated. So you need a Ukrainian, let's just, because there's so many things about this that everyone's discussing, so I'm just trying to make it as clear as possible. You need a smartphone. You need this app, which you should have on your phone before you fly, because they check it right, from what I understand. I have not been there. This is just from different groups that I've been part of and reading. They basically check it right away when you land. I heard that in Israel they are checking before you even fly out of Israel, and if you do not have it, then they don't let you fly. So it's very important that you get this app. Once you have the app, you should not open it at all until you get to the Ukraine. Now, what happens when you get to the Ukraine? There's different people saying different things, but basically, you're going to need to be able to receive a text message on this phone. So obviously the main question is how do you receive a text message on this phone if your phone isn't going to have service in the Ukraine? So officially the app works with all the numbers from all over the world. So if you get a plan in America, let's say that you can use your phone in the Ukraine, then you should not have any issues. But some people are saying that there is issues. The best thing to do is to try to get your hands on a Ukrainian SIM card. There are still some available on eBay. I purchased one on eBay. The problem is that they're all shipping from either China, Ukraine, or Israel. And if you're in the US, it could take a long time to get here. So there's options for faster shippings. You may need to spend a few extra bucks, but it is worth it, so that you know that. And then when you got there, you basically show them that you have the app, and then you activate it. You put in your phone number, you'll get a code. You'll get this text message of 4-number PIN. You will enter that in, and then the timer will start, and then they will let you through the border. And then once you're in that area, once you're in Ukraine, you need to go take a test. So there's testing places in Uman that will give you very, very fast results. Also, you can take a test in the airport. There's different prices, but basically you don't have to even take a PCR test. I think it even works with a rapid test. So once you take a test, and you can't take a test just anywhere, it needs to be in a place that is working alongside this app, so that when the results come, the app will turn green, and that means that you're free and you're out of quarantine. Besides that, you also need to have Ukrainian insurance as well, and you need to come with a negative test from wherever you're flying. So there's all these different things. So the best thing to do is to try to get a Ukrainian SIM card. We're trying to figure out from people who are flying from the US. So far, we haven't really seen so many people flying so early from here, but people have been getting in. So we're assuming that it works on US numbers. And if you are in Israel, it's very easy to obtain a Ukrainian SIM card. There's a store called the Uman Center in Mea Shearim which sells them, and there's different places. So try your best to get a SIM card, or hopefully everyone is vaccinated and things like that. Also, regarding one shot, many people in Israel are recovered from corona, like me. And in Israel, they only give you one shot instead of 2 shots. And so Ukraine is officially not recognizing that according to the rules, but I have heard that people are getting in even with the one shot. But it is still very important to prepare as a backup to have the smartphone and the Ukrainian SIM and this app and everything. No, but just I think the main thing is no matter what you are, you always have to have this Ukrainian insurance. So you can buy that and get that ready and everything like that. And then once you're in Ukraine, you're in Ukraine. So that's the updates as of now. If you're flying in the next week or two, there's at least 6,000 people in Uman. You should try to find a place. It's very hard to find apartments. I heard the sleeping tents are opening early. Shiner's tent opened up today for food for dinner for free, and you can buy food for Shabbos meals for $15 for all the meals. So there's things. Everything will be taken care of for you there, and you'll be fine. Now, let us learn some stuff. That was 8 minutes of updates. That's pretty intense. Okay, let's go back to this country. So we were up to piece. We're up to piece Chaf Tes. It says over here, it is known that Rebbe Nachman said that a woman who is having a hard time in childbirth, right? So, like she's mamish in childbirth in the hospital on her bed or whatever it is, and she cannot give birth. It says that Rebbe Nachman said that she will only be having a hard childbirth until they come to me, her husband or her shliach or whatever. This is bought in the Sefer Chaye Mohoran Simin Reish Ayin Ches, and it was known that this was known in the city of Uman, even by the people who were against Breslov, by the Misnagdim, that any time there was a woman who was having a hard time giving birth and she needed to give birth, they would come. Maybe her husband or her relatives would come to the tzion of Rebbe Nachman, and they would ask before Hashem over there, and she would mamish have Yeshua right away. And this was mamish a nes. This is bought in Siach Sarfei Kodesh Chelik Vav. Okay, that's pretty awesome. Another story. Rabbi Reuven Yosef lived in the city of Heisen, and the Breslov Chassidim, when they would go to Uman, through the way of Heisen, when they would pass by the city of Heisen, they would sleep and stay in his house. And he was very happy to have them, and he would give them food and everything. And a few years before the Machloikis, I guess on the Rebbe Nachman it's talking about, the Breslov Chassidim passed by there on Chav Ches Adar, so that they would be able to come the next day, on Erev Chodesh Nisan, to the Tzion of Rebbe Nachman and Uman. As we know, there's this thing to be there on Aleph Nisan, on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, which is Rebbe Nachman's birthday. So Breslov Chassidim were night to go. So this year they were going, and when they came to the house of Rabbi Reuven Yosef, they found him on his bed, mamish sick, almost dying, and he couldn't taste anything, and he couldn't even speak. And when the Chassidim saw this, they were very worried. Besides that, they liked him a lot. He was a great person, and they would always stay by his house. But also, they were kind of sad that this guy is not going to be around, and now we can't stay by him, and a Jewish place on the way. So this would not be good, right? And so what they do? So they decided to take upon themselves, when they came to the Tzion of Rebbe Nachman tomorrow, they would scream and cry and daven first on a complete healing for him, for this guy, Rabbi Reuven Yosef. And this is what they did. And with mercy of Hashem, their tefillos were accepted. And he got better. And it says V'shamati me'avi. This is probably Shamati, means Rav Avin Bar Nachman heard from his father, Rav Nachman Tulchiner, Sheniskado Az B'Beisoi, Ki Hu Hoyedoide Shal Avizal. Okay. So Rav Nachman Tulchiner grew up in this guy Rabbi Reuven Yosef's house, because he was the uncle of my father. Shuba Atzmei Az Etzloi. He, Mamish, was standing next to him, and he saw that at the time that the Breslov Chassidim were davening in Uman, right? He already saw that his face was already changing for the good, and that he was already getting better. And then he got all better, and everything was good. This story is from the Kuntras Yemei HaTlois, which I think is about all of the times of the Machlokes on Rav Nosson. Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Bender says, in my eyes I was zoiche to see Rav Avin Bar Nachman, that he would stand and he would speak his heart out in front of Hashem by the Tzion, just like a person would speak to his friend. He says that this type of closeness to Hashem and this type of closeness to the tzaddik that I saw by Rav Avin Bar Nachman when he was by the Tzion of Rabbeinu Zal, I cannot even express it. He was so clean and pure with his words until he spoke to Hashem. Kidaber Ishal Reu. Pamachas. One time I saw him leave the Tzion, but then right away he went back in. V'himshich b'diburei. And he kept on praying, and he kept on speaking, like he realized that he actually had more to speak about, and he kept on speaking. It also says again about Rav Avin Bar Nachman that there were many times that he went to pray at Rebbe Nachman's at the Tzion, even many times in one day. As we know, there's a thing that's not to go to the tzaddik more than once in one day, but by Uman, we already saw that people go there a lot. So you can go in the morning, the afternoon, at night. You do all your avodah there. And he said one time that when you are mamish stubborn in your tefillah in the Tzion, you can get what you need. Amar Rabbeinu Zal. Rabbeinu said, this is from Rav Shmuel Horowitz, that he heard from somebody that said that Rebbe Nachman said that there will come a time that we will thank Hashem that we're able to even see the Tzion from afar. Maybe they won't let us go to the Tzion, maybe like last year or something, I don't know. Okay, here's another one. Harav Mecharkov, he was a Kohen, and he would come to Uman many times, especially on Rosh Hashanah, but B'shum Oifin, there was no way that he would go inside the Tzion because he was a Kohen. And the Breslov Chassidim would tell him that Kivrei Tzadikim are not Mitamim, and the minhag by the Breslov Chassidim was to go into the Tzion, even the Kohanim. And the Rav Mecharkov asked Rav Shimshon Barsky, I guess it's talking about Rav Shimshon Barsky, because he was a nechet of Rabbeinu Zal, he was a grandchild of Rabbeinu, great-grandchild, whatever, that he should explain to him, Al Pisvara V'seichel Ha'im Kidai L'Kines, like, why should I go in? I understand that people can go in, it's not my time, but why should I go in? Like, he wanted to know a logical reason. Rav Shimshon answered him. He said that if there was a cholim sukkah, someone who was very sick, and his refuah was only in the basic forest. Oh, and inside the basic forest there is a doctor, the best doctor in the world, that he could for sure cure this guy, right? Would you go to help this guy, or would you let him die? Because you're a Kohen, right? So the same thing by us is that we are choyle nefesh. We have a roife nefesh kazeh shebevade hirapo yisanu betachlis ki keshaboyim al tzion hakodesh esoyrus tshuvahu ein l'shayr. Right, and a person becomes mamish, a different person, and it's not the same thing when you stand outside and don't go in. Right? You don't have the same feeling. So he realized that he was right. He took this answer and he still didn't go in. But after a while, he decided to go in, and he saw that the difference was very, very great. This is actually a great little piece over here. I'm going to screenshot this because it's beautiful. All right. This is cool. The Rav HaGoyen Rabbi Gershon of Radzin, the Baal HaTchelas, he was in Uman on the Tzion. And he would say that now he understands why other Chassidim and other Tzadikim are not miscarved to Rabbeinu Zal. He said the Inyan of Rabbeinu is K'Moshe Kasav al Kivroi Shal Moshe. This is a Gemara in Saita on page Yudalad, page 14. Amid Aleph, El Yoinim Nidme Lehem Lemala, V'Tachtonim Nidme Lehem Lemala. I don't know that Gemara, but basically what it means is that Rabbeinu is married to the Gedolim, to the big tzaddikim, She'ayim Mikom Kvoidoi, She'im Adayim Lemata V'Adayim Lehisigu Klum, Up Mashpilam. That Rabbeinu shows to big tzaddikim that they don't really know anything. Al Kein Loi Noisim U'Miskarvim, so therefore they don't go. Because who would want to be knocked down? You know what I'm saying? And to the small people, this is the whole entire lesson in Likutei Tinyan, the second part of Likutei Imran, the seventh lesson. This is what he talks about. This is the Torah of I think this is the one, right? Or maybe not, but whatever, it's a whole thing. Yeah. But anyway, and to the small people, he shows that everybody, that Hashem is filling the whole world. That they all have tikva. And he lifts them up. So the small people, they're the ones who go, because we know that Rebbe Nachman will show us the right way. All right, I'm trying to figure out one more over here. It says for Rabbi Matisyo Kohen Zal, He had such a chiyas and hargash gedoyla kol kach b'kedusha Tzion Rabbeinu, in the holiness of the Tzion of Rebbe Nachman, that he was able to go to the caver of Rebbe Nachman at the beginning of the night, and he would stay there the whole entire night, and he would sit there and learn the whole entire night he would sit there and learn the whole entire night Likutei Moran and one of this whatever, all the teachings of Rebbe Nachman. All right, last one for today. One time Rabbi Mendele went to the Tzion of Rabbi Nachman. He was also a Breslov Chassid with a different Breslov Chassid, and a misnagid came and started screaming at them divrei bizayin, and until he started calling them dogs. And Rabbi Mendele said, sorry, there's all these things coming on my phone. Rabbi Mendele said to the other Breslover who was going with him, he said it b'divrei tzachas, like in a funny way. He's right. This misnagid, he's miskavin that we are like Kalev ben Yefuna, that went to daven on the kivrei avos, k'moish amru Rabbeinu Zal in Saita Lamedalet. Omer ha misnagid, and the misnagid is really telling us that we are doing the same type of thing. Like when we go to Rabbeinu, we're going to we are like Kalev ben Yefuna. That's very geschmack. I like that. All right, so that's the stuff for today, and we will continue maybe next week, maybe before Uman another one. But I hope that everyone gets to Uman. Again, we have breslofnews.com. Check out the website. There's a WhatsApp group you can join. There's all information, and if you have any questions, just get on that group, and we'll all be able to answer you. Everyone should have a great Elul and be mischazik with whatever we can, and should have a great day.